working on my 33rd year, and focused on constitutional law. And was a very high volume trial lawyer. I probably run about 1,500 trials. And now I'm trying to raise freedom issues and constitutional issues. When I get to speak, you'll learn that we are in a total constitutional crisis. And we actually need each one. We've gone from the point where you can just listen to things, and we've left the point where you can go, oh, well, others will take care of this. And I mean, here I'm at an event, and we've got Bruce Party and Leighton Gray and Mr. Buckley speaking about things, but our efforts are totally meaningless unless you actually start getting involved. And here's where it gets really fun and again, it doesn't matter where you were on the COVID conversation, as many of us felt really challenged and afraid by what, I call the COVID experience. I mean, I remember here, I'm a constitutional lawyer, and again, it doesn't matter whether you supported or didn't support what was going on, I really saw state overreach, in my opinion, to the point where I'm believing I'm seeing a police state being imposed, and I still have that belief, and I couldn't believe what was happening, and I have to say I was very afraid. I was very afraid. After the COVID experience, especially in the province of Alberta, I used to ask the question, you'd be a typical audience, and I would say, okay, during the darkest time of COVID, did you honestly believe that the army would be used to go door to door, dragging unvaccinated people out of their homes and vaccinating them? And in the province of Alberta, when I would ask that question, after the COVID experience, well over half of the hands would go up, which means that well over half of the people that, at least I was interacting with at events, believed that the army would actually be going door to door and administrating involuntary medical interventions on people, which is pretty significant. And the level of fear was very high. And I was very afraid until the truckers, I never stopped being afraid, but when the truckers rolled, I thought, okay, there's people standing up, so I have to do whatever I can. I love this country. I want it to pursue its destiny, which it's not. And I've come to understand that actually if we all stand up, we can make this the freest, most prosperous nation on earth. What nation, you hear about Dubai having all this money. Well, wait a second, we've got more oil than them. We've got minerals. We've got fresh water. We've got timber. We've got agriculture. We've got a society that believes in freedom, which is necessary for prosperity. And we're educated. How can it be that we're in debt? How can it, Canada should be so rich that, grade 6 students should be coming home and asking their parents, the teacher was talking about something called poverty. None of us could understand. What is she talking about? That should be Canada. And yet, we're really the laughingstock of the world. I've heard person after person after person internationally that I'm talking to privately, and it's like, oh my gosh, you poor guys in Canada. Well, that's not our destiny. And every single one of us is here right now for a reason. So we can't be afraid anymore, because you are designed specifically to be here at this time to do what God set out for you to do. It's called the destiny. The Bible tells us that he actually wrote a book about you, and before time began. And so if you think you're afraid, you think you can't do this, you're forgetting who you are. And you are the person that was specifically designed to be here at this time and face what you're facing. So, with that knowledge, I'm going to invite our first speaker, Bruce Party, up. And Bruce, welcome to This Is Our Land Forum. And as my wife Teresa would say, buckle up your seatbelts and grab the popcorn.